But again, they're gonna ask him what is his feelings about the Mavs' decision to trade him, and they're also gonna ask him, how did he approach that extension with the Mavs? And the answer he's gonna give is completely different than what Nico Harrison has said. And Nico Harrison's like kind of, a little white lie of saying, they were kind of uncomfortable going into the summertime, not knowing what Luka was gonna do. But watch Luka's answer right here.
Luka, Brad Townsend, Dallas Morning News. So you wrote a Dear Dallas letter to fans that was, very heartfelt, and you talked a little bit about, your shock. How are your feelings toward the upper levels of the organization, Nico in particular, or the decision to trade you?
Well, that's their decision, so I have no comment on that. They made the decision. I don't know why. But that's their decision, so I can't do nothing about it.
And then one of the reasons that was given was that there was concern that, beyond this summer, or that there's a chance you might not agree to the Supermax extension. Did you or anyone on your inner circle indicate that that might be the case?
Absolutely not. It's easy as that.
So right there, you hear it directly from Luka. Absolutely not. That's not what Nico Harrison has had expressed. That's why I said there's a lot of inconsistencies in this whole fucking situation. There's a lot of inconsistencies. And just real quick, I'm just going to deviate and go right back to what, just to remind the audience of what exactly the Nico Harrison had to say about this. This is the exact statement that the interviewer had asked Luka about. This one right here. Let's hear it directly from Nico Harrison. This is just for a reference.
Moving on from Luka was in the best interest of the franchise.
Yeah, I think it wasn't really like a point. I think it was like, how do we make our team better? There's some unique things about his contract that we had to pay attention to. There's other teams that were loading up, that he was going to be able to decide make his own decision at some point of whether he wants to be here or not, whether we want to supermax him or not, or whether he wants to opt out. So I think we had to take all that into consideration and feel like we got out in front of what could have been a tumultuous summer.
Nico, did you have any indication from him or his representation that he was going to opt out or not take the extension or anything like that?
No, not at all. Not at all. Nothing verbally that would lead me to believe that.
Why would the Supermax be a difficult decision on your end?
Oh no, it's not a matter of it being a difficult decision. Now it's a matter of, once you put that out there, they accept or they don't, and at that point you're on the clock.
You see that right there? Tumultuous summer. Once you put the max contract out there, you're on the clock. There's a lot of inconsistent shit that he's saying. Luka just negated all that shit. He's like, what is he talking about? That's exactly what the interviewer just asked Luka. Well, what are your thoughts on that? This shit is real inconsistent, man. It's real fucking inconsistent.
There's a lot of contradiction statements with the extension talks. Obviously, I think the whole idea of Luka Doncic is gonna be a free agent eventually, and we won't be a team ready. That's the bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
If any good franchise, any good organization would have would have a plan B, plan C on how to keep their franchise player. You tell me Dallas Mavericks didn't? No, I think what it is obviously we talked about it previously about the Edelman family, but I'm not trying to get too much into ownership politics. But I think this Nico Harrison guy has shown really pretty much incompetency in how he kind of runs his organization. To be honest with you, this is pure incompetency. The statement is a cop out. It's bullshit. It's a dishonest statement to the fans and to people who invest in Dallas Mavericks merchandise and buying the games and all this shit.
Yep. It's
Because you're telling me a 25-year-old you have no way of pivoting to ensure he stays with you for another decade? Are you shitting me?
And then also at the same time, what Nico's really saying that Luka was hesitant about signing his extension that would have gave him $70 million a year.
Yeah,
and
bullshit.
He left it up to them to possibly think about trading him, in which now he no longer qualifies for that extension, and he's gonna lose $116 million. That doesn't make any sense.
They're being shameless. They're very shameless about how they approach the game. this is one of the most shameless things you could do as a front office, man. Just be honest, you know, just be honest or find another excuse. But I think trying to pen it on Luca and trying to get him to be kind of like the sacrificial lamb is whack. Because bro, every players, every like Tatum, Luca, they're gonna sign that contract.
Mhm. Do you think the NBA is slowly moving the trade deadline to almost, they keep pushing it up and up, and this year it seems like, with the NFL kind of creeping up into their real estate with Christmas, do you think they did that on purpose to creep up on the NFL's real estate during their Super Bowl coverage? Because this is weeks like this is where the NBA gets swallowed up by like everything
Yeah,
Super Bowl, but
but
this year
you
it's
look
like the
at it.
opposite happened.
They did the All-Star reveal and they did this, right? So clearly they're trying to dominate as much as media time as possible because now you have McAfee, now you have this page. They're giving Shams the platform to really like talk about basketball now.
Yeah, but this is not by accident.
No,
Moving
no,
the
the NBA
trade
by
deadline
design.
up to Super Bowl week, Super
Yeah,
Bowl media week. Cause remember, there's an off week by the NFL. The Super Bowl is 2 weeks from the conference championship games. So the NFL was off last week, and then this week is their media week. But their media week, it happens to be when the NBA has their trade deadline. This is not an accident. This is not
because
an
everyone's talking
accident.
Luka now.
Of
Everyone's talking
course.
Luka.
Of course,
Everyone,
bro, most people forgot that the Super Bowl was on Sunday. That's how lit
yeah.
the NBA was this week.
Well, I think De'Aaron Fox is probably more talked about
It's not even there,
than
just
the Super Bowl.
The Luka thing alone.
Luka itself, but I'm also talking like even the outside, like outside of Luka, they were pretty much talked
Oh
about, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Outside Luka, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. It was
But
definitely
obviously
big
Luka is
news.
the biggest star, so he's gonna be talked about.
Did you ever imagine that the NBA could take over the headlines in an NFL Super Bowl week? Like that's crazy. Nobody saw
Yeah.
that coming. And it's because
Also,
Adam. This is good for Adam Silver because the NBA has taken a lot of PR hits over the past few months. Low ratings.
especially with the low ratings, yep.
Yeah, too much 3-point shooting.
Lack of competitiveness.
And then this
And
week kind of dispelled all that because look at all the interest. Look at
I
all
think
the interest.
Christmas games should get a lot of love. The NBA beat the NFL in Christmas Day.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
Like I'm
shocked.
not talking ratings, I'm talking product as a product.
It did, man. But look how this is good. This is a win for Silver this week because it shows you how in tune people are really with the league.
It showed you how you can attract a casual base.
I think the Super Bowl has Kendrick Lamar performing. You have to understand what's going on. The Super Bowl is the done data of it all. And this is their media week. They got Kendrick Lamar in a rap beef with Drake performing at the Super Bowl, and the NBA took over all that with media coverage.
Well,
Nobody
the
saw that coming.
The NBA also took away like WWE's hype were coming off the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. They're able to take away from a lot of sports entities hype.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? They took away all that stuff. But also it shows the NBA can really build a future league without their LeBron James and these golden gooses. Now you're getting a new golden goose that people are really crazy about. Because Luka, like, bro, I've had like casual, like people who don't watch basketball, like
Exactly. That's when
what
you
the
know it
fuck?
hits.
Like,
That's
yeah,
when you
like
know it hits.
one of my coworkers, she's like, I was listening to a podcast of like all girls podcast or a TikTok. I don't know what she was watching, but she's like, oh, they explain it in girly terms, and this trade makes so much sense. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So basketball is transcending where people are using like other leagues. Like my friend was like, this is like, oh, trading Mbappe for Neymar. And I'm like, yeah, that's a great example. And that's how people are contextualizing it. So the NBA has something to build on. I think obviously the Christmas games was a success, which is a plus for the NBA. And you look at this trade deadline with Luka kind of being the main topic. Because I'm not going to lie, like the fact we didn't even see Kevin Durant or Steph Curry moved. And the fact is, like, guys like Luka Doncic, obviously, Anthony Davis being a big talk, but along with kind of the other trades that went on.
Just real quick, I wanted to go to your initial point when you brought up that Neymar, that casual fan from another sport. You see, this week, that's when the NFL does that. It grabs
Yeah.
the casuals, the girls that normally listen to the girl podcast. Now this week they're doing Super Bowl, Sunday fun day for their boyfriends. They're inviting people over. They don't even watch the game. This is the Super Bowl effect. Like, the NFL has that much power that they're getting the casuals. Now the NBA in that same very week is getting those same casuals to talk about their product. That's how you know this trade has hit. It has hit the fucking stratosphere, man. It's gone. It's out of
It's
here.
pop culture. This
Yeah.
trade be pop culture. Like, I think even Beyonce's Grammys, I don't think it was talked as much as this trade.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. It even swallowed up the Grammys. You're right.
Yeah, it swallowed up WWE, and this is like their marquee season, WrestleMania. It swallowed up the NFL with their Super Bowl, and it swallowed up the Grammys with Beyonce winning and Kendrick Lamar winning a shit ton of awards for this song.
Yeah, bro. This is crazy, man. Like,
This is a good
nobody
hype
saw
charge.
this coming for the NBA. This was not even the talk a couple of weeks ago. All the talk was too much 3-point shooting. You had Adam Silver going through a press conference trying to defend the league. We're thinking about adding this rule, shortening the time for the quarters. All blah blah blah. It's almost like the league was on the defense. They were on the defense, and in 1 week, this shit turned around. And I wouldn't be shocked if someone made a phone call and made this Luka trade happen. If a call from upstairs was like, "Yo, Luka got to go to LA. We got to make noise." Like, this shit is really hitting. It's really hitting.
Basketball is an individual sport, right? So if you're Adam Silver, you market individuals, because me and my friend, we had this conversation a few weeks ago where he was talking about, like, oh, the NBA should market teams. I'm like, bro, when you look at football, everyone has their different role. The offense and defense have their different role. In basketball, sure, like, when we watch basketball, we know the different roles, whatever, right? But for a casual audience, the main goal is scoring. It's just what it is, right? So I'm like, bro, if you're NBA marketing, if you're basketball marketing, you're better off marketing individual players. And this trade deadline was a marketing of individual players, like Luka going to LA and De'Aaron Fox playing with Victor Wembanyama, Jimmy Butler teaming up with Steph Curry. These are individual players being marketed to the worldwide sports, to the worldwide. It's, oh, look, your player is teaming up with one of the most all-stars, teaming up with one of the upcoming players, or, like I said, Jimmy Butler teaming up with a guy who's won multiple championships. Maybe he could win one. And it's all narratives. Luka Doncic being the new face of the Lakers is all narrative.
Mm-hmm.
What are the Dallas Mavericks doing with Anthony Davis? Can he win one with Kyrie as a 1A, a 1B? Tyler Hero's new team with Andrew Wiggins being a co-star. So it's a lot of interesting narratives we're seeing in basketball, and the trade deadline kind of dominated that. And props to the NBA in that regard. I think the league's headed to a decent direction. I think Adam Silver probably entertained the idea. I don't think he's an idiot who's going to fully implement it about the 10-minute quarters or whatever. But the NBA, they're kind of like stuck in this middle ground, and I think this gives them a good direction, a good feel of where they could be in the where they could be in pop culture and their relevancy in sports. Because NBA is always going to be remaining relevant, but they're always going to look to compete with, like, MLB. Like the MLB the MLB has a resurgence. The NBA is always going to be up and down. It just all sports, everything. It's always going to be up and down. But you're always going to have that core supporters,
Yeah.
and you're always going to have people caring enough to, like, react to
But
big
again,
trades and big deals.
you got to attract the casuals. You
always,
got to attract the
always.
casuals, man. I'm telling you, the week that the NFL has mastered that, they have mastered catching the casuals, that people who don't even understand football right now are having a Super Bowl party. They don't even understand football.
They want to watch the commercials. They want to watch Kendrick Lamar perform. They want to watch whatever, right? Whatever gets them going. And I think that's what the NFL has done a good job on. And the NBA is kind of figuring out, like, bro, let's be honest, it takes one major event for your sport to get mainstream. You look at MLB's resurgency. It was a Japanese player in LA Dodgers. He was able to make baseball mainstream again, because it's like the idea of this guy could be greater than Babe Ruth. This guy could be the greatest baseball player of all time.
Yeah.
Now people want to watch him play for
He
the
made
Dodgers.
it more
correct?
national.
Yeah, and baseball's more popular than ever now. And then you look at UFC, Khabib and McGregor. All these guys want to fucking kill each other. These guys despise each other,
Mm-hmm.
and they were able to market that to become mainstream. You look at boxing, obviously, you just look at his history: Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, George Fraser. I don't even gotta go all that deep, but you know the idea. Basketball has its moments too with Larry and Mike, Kobe, Shaq, whatever. So it's always gonna be that one moment that just kind of flips it around for any league. And this could be it for the NBA, to be honest with you, if Luka were to be one of the greatest Laker of all time,
Yeah, this is huge, man. I felt like the league really. I'm looking at it now, like the league really needed this. I'm just looking at the effect. Just looking at the effect, man. I'm telling you, man. It's the Super Bowl weekend. I mean, this is Super Bowl media week, and the
Yeah,
NBA took it over. Had you
yeah,
told somebody
exactly.
this 2 weeks ago, they would tell you you must have lost your mind.
Yeah, like bro, I think the day of the Super Bowl, people are gonna find. Obviously, the Super Bowl's gonna have crazy ratings, but
No, the
the
Super Bowl,
whole
of
week
course, the
phenomenon.
day of, but the
Yeah,
NFL never thought during their media week of the Super Bowl that the NBA would take over all the headlines. Like that's
yeah,
all the
no,
fans are talking about.
yeah, no. The sports world is crazy right now. I think even these broadcasters, right? They're all dedicating their time to break down trades.
Yeah, but you know what? Right now, I'm telling you, there's a battle going on. Roger Goodell. He laid out his chess piece on Christmas. I'm telling you, Adam Silver. People didn't peep it. Adam Silver,
Yeah,
because we never seen the trade deadline really, like this before the All Star. It's been steadily happening the past few years, but now it's not a coincidence. The trade deadline is Thursday, right before the Super Bowl. That was a
is it?
checkmate back.
We're looking at a lot of content being available. That's just what it is, especially in sports world.
Yeah, but wait, hold on,
There's a lot.
but you're not peeping the real estate, like the
Yeah, of
NFL.
course.
The NFL over the summer, they've slowly, kind of they slowly crept up to the NBA's real estate of free agency. The NFL has crept up on that, and I'm telling you,
Yeah.
these two leagues are battling right now. And now the NFL crept up on the NBA Christmas, so it's like the NBA is sort of fighting back. Okay, trade deadline Thursday, right before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's
Oh yeah,
tough.
100%.
That's tough for the NFL to kind of fight that. It's like,
And
whoa,
like,
the NFL knows the NBA is young and the NBA is on social media. That's almost like the California fires, man. All that dry wood laying around, it's a matter of time. One of those things catch on fire, the whole shit cooked. Like that's
and like I
that's that's
said,
NBA news on social media. Once it catches fire, it's going viral.
the previous week you just had your All-Star release. So the NBA within that 2 weeks took full on advantage of the news cycle. Whether it's All-Star announcement or it's this trade deadline announcements.
Yeah, man. Whew.
They
This is
milked it out, and that's just how it's gonna be from now on. I think every sport's gonna try to milk out their moment to top each other. They're all in competition with each other.
yeah. It's been like this for a couple years now.
It's good for the fans too. Like
Yeah.
I said, bro, baseball has found a resurgency
Mm-hmm.
because of this like Japanese player, right? And then you kind of hopefully we see. I think we're gonna see in the NBA real soon. I think the ratings thing is an over exaggeration. It's a transition, but transitions.
It is a
It
transition,
happens
but
pretty
but the
smoothly.
league is still currently transition. Look at the NBA draft now. It's 2 days. It's two
Yeah,
days now. Like they're slowly the NBA low key has been building different real estates. One real estate is the draft now being 2 days. Another real estate, I'm not sure if you've been noticing, is the Vegas Summer League. There you could tell they're pumping money into that. They're trying to
yeah,
make it a bigger event. Vegas Summer League now seems like its own event.
yeah.
It's like a
Because in the
thing.
summertime, you also got Ice Cube League trying to take in ratings too.
No. It has nothing to do with that. I think it's really we're talking about the Titans here. The NFL and the NBA have been encroaching on each other's real estate, and it hasn't been more apparent than this year. Christmas and the trade deadline being right before the Super Bowl. It's
Yeah,
very apparent. This is not done by accident. None of this is done by accident. I think there was a time period where this was sort of like a dance between both leagues, a little understanding. They didn't overtly say it. Oh, okay, NBA, we're not gonna, be in your Christmas, even though we're the number one sports product. And then the NBA kind of stayed away from certain NFL dates, from the combine to the draft. But now it seems like things have gotten muddied. Things have gotten fucking muddied, man. And both these leagues are encroaching on each other's real estate. That's a real thing. That is a real fucking thing. I'm telling you, man, this is shocking, man. They're probably gonna do, like, I want to say they're gonna do a doc on, like, what went down this week, but this is crazy, bro. This is legendary. You got
This is
Kendrick
awesome.
Lamar. You got Kendrick Lamar in the Super Bowl in a crazy rap beef. You got the Grammys, Super Bowl weekend, a great rematch between Eagles and the Chiefs. I can understand if two shitty teams were in the Super Bowl that no one knew. But you got Patrick Mahomes getting a rematch against the Eagles. The Eagles want their get back. And the NBA still took over all that shit.
And like I said, you got WWE happening an hour before.
Yeah.
So they're trying to be the narrative dominated, like kind of like it's our night as a, WWE. They looked at it like, oh, the NFL is gone. And so like we'll have, we'll be the talked about thing in town, which they were for like 30 minutes until the Luka thing went. And like nobody cared about WWE and their Royal Rumble anymore.
Yeah.
So all entertainment had to take a back step, whether you're WWE, Grammys, NFL, they all had to take a back step into like, oh shit. Like Luka's here, like even like Beyonce, the biggest pop star who people cried about like not getting a Grammy, not want a Grammy, and people talked about it for 30 minutes and went back to Luka.